What did it really cost to remove this bathroom tile floor, including the toilet? Apply an anti-fracture membrane, install the new tile floor, grout it, reinstall the tile, all said and done. What did I charge to replace this tile floor versus what it actually cost me? How much money did I lose? And what should I have charged if I were to do this all over again? For this particular bathroom, the toilet removal took 40 minutes to remove and of course haul out to the garage. The tile floor demo took 2.25 hours to remove, and I think that was mostly because this particular tile floor came up very easily. Some are very stubborn and might even take you a half a day or all day. So something to take into consideration here. After removing the tile floor, I used my 7-inch DeWalt grinder to grind down the concrete, which took off any sort of surface mortar that was left on from after chipping up, the tile floor and the basic mortar. And it took 15 minutes to grind the concrete floor, because after you take up the tile and the thin set mortar, you may be left with a little bit of mortar residue, and you don't want to have any of that get in the way of the anti-fracture membrane or installing the new tile floor. Fortunately, it didn't take very long to grind, and of course I have the grinder hooked up to a shop vac with a HEPA filter. After removing the existing tile floor, you may discover some pretty good sized concrete foundation cracks. It would also be a really good idea to at least try to use a product like Hydraband to prevent your new tile floor from cracking, along with thin set like FlexBond or Megalite by Custom Building Products. The Hydraband application on this concrete floor took 1.25 hours and 1 hour of dry time. Now when it comes to installing the tile floor, the first day I spent 6.33 hours, so that's 6 hours and 20 minutes to install the tile, and then I came back the next day to spend 3 hours finishing up the tile install. I'm sure there was some dry time, so I probably went to lunch after that, and then came back, spent a couple hours grouting the floor, or really, I had my tile guy Edgar come in and grout it because I was doing other things. It took 2.25 hours to reinstall the toilet and replace the shutoff valve. Now normally it takes me 1.25 hours to reinstall a toilet, so the other remaining hour was to remove the old toilet valve, which required a special tool, and then reinstall a new valve so that way everything's all shiny and new. So how much did I charge to install this tile floor, and what should I have charged? Well, I charged $270 for the demo, $810 to install the tile floor, so right there that's $1,080. Then I charged $175 to install the new toilet, but you can't forget about the $50 to remove the old toilet. So that total there is $1,305 just in labor materials alone. Now what should I have charged? Now if we were just counting labor hours, that $1,305 should have been $1,350 worth of labor. So that's pretty close. It's kind of like saying, hey, you got about an extra half an hour worth of work there. And of course I did throw in the Hydraband materials and spending that 1.25 hours to roll on the Hydraband. I didn't initially charge the client for that. I didn't charge the client for that, once the whole job was done. But of course he was a friend of a neighbor of mine, so I just kind of like let it go, whatever. Now if I had to do this tile floor again, I would have charged $1,800 in labor to demo and install a new floor like this. And why is that? Because it took 3 days of my time, right? Not every day is going to be an 8-hour day. Some days you're going to have about 6.5 to 7 hours worth of work, and then you're just going to have to walk away and leave because the tile that you were installing has to dry and you can't step on it. So you have to let that dry, come back the next day, put in the 3 hours worth of work to install that tile, and maybe you're lucky enough to be working on something else like I was working on building this shower, so I could be kind of keeping myself occupied while that stuff was drying. So for this particular case, because I was working on other things, this tile floor really cost $1,350 in labor, but if I was only doing this tile floor, it really would be $1,800 in labor. Now when it comes to the materials of this project, if we just count the tile, the mortar, grout, that type of stuff, it's about $265 worth of material. But as far as counting for the total number of days is concerned, I lost out on about $500 to $600 because of the Hydraband tile, mortar, and grout needs dry time. Well, in order to figure out the cost, every bathroom tile floor scenario is a little bit different. So you really need to ask yourself some questions. What type of tile has to be removed? Is it porcelain, ceramic, saltillo, or even stone tile? How much square footage of floor tile needs to be removed? I made a tile floor demo chart based on the cost per square foot, and all of these are examples from previous jobs. So all of this just covers labor only and not any tool rental, disposal cost, or drive time, which would be unique to your individual circumstances. If you look on the left side upper part of the chart, you'll see 22 to 27 square foot bathroom floor. This is really two different jobs, which one bathroom was 22 square feet and the next was 27 square feet. It took 2 hours for the 22 square foot bathroom floor tile demo and 2.5 hours for the 27 square foot bathroom floor tile demo. For the demo, it was 10.8 to 11 square feet per hour, and the cost was $6.80 to $6.94 per square foot. In my estimate, I had $150 for the 22 square foot bathroom floor tile demo and $270 for the 27 square foot bathroom floor tile demo, and I was able to do it for $187.50 due to how easy the tile came up. And after discovering cracks, I donated some labor and materials to help with that situation, so the client didn't get charged anymore. If the house has a raised foundation or if the bathroom is on a second floor, the floor tile is most likely on top of a 1/4 inch thick layer of cement backer board that should be screwed down with a layer of thinset underneath, which is all on top of a plywood subfloor. How much is it to install a new tile floor? Each tile floor installation can be slightly different, not only in terms of square footage, but also with the room size and obstacles, tile layout, tile size, various cuts required, type of tile material, who's doing the tile install, the type of grout and quality level, just to name a few. For this 22 square foot bathroom, the install was $1,088, and for this 27 square foot bathroom, it was $1,350. If you have a larger bathroom like 80 square feet, it could cost between $2,000 and $4,000, or 101 square feet of porcelain tile with a toilet room for $4,018.25. And this 107 square foot stone tile install costs $4,224 to install. One of the things that tile installers have told me over the years is that it really just depends on how the room is laid out. If you've got a big room, let's say it's square or rectangular, it's 400 square feet, something like that might get done by a 2-man crew in about 3 or 4 days. Meanwhile, you may have a 100 square foot bathroom that takes a 2-man crew 3 or 4 days, just because of the way the layout of the room is. Maybe there's 45-degree corners along the cabinets, there's multiple doorways to deal with, a separate toilet room, you name it. There's lots of reasons that can slow a tile installer down, and from their experience, they usually know how long it's going to take them. Each tile installer is going to be faster or slower than the next guy. Some tile installers will be perfect and some not quite as perfect. If you want the cost to be lower possibly, then you can use a tile subcontractor who may not be quite as particular. If I was doing the tile floor, it would be flat because I use a level as a long straight edge to check to see that the tile is staying flat. Now, during an initial estimate meeting, we are assuming that your subfloor is flat and level. If before the job, after the demo, or during the install we find some areas or the whole room that needs some sort of work to make the room flat or level, or correct for some dips or humps in the floor, that will be an extra expense added to the cost of the job. Usually when the problems are big enough, meaning time consuming and possibly considered expensive, I'll bring these issues to my clients in advance to discuss. What is more important to you? Would you rather save a few $100s or stare at a bad tile floor job for the next 10 to 20 years? If you like watching remodeling how-to videos that also tell you how much a project could cost with professional labor and materials, how many hours or days and all of that, be sure to subscribe to this channel. And now I get to finally sit down and enjoy it to watch some of my own Craftsman Connection specials.